Hey folks, hope you enjoyed the podcast. This free teaser of the main episode features 10 posts, but you can get the full episode with an additional 20 posts, plus our witty banter and all that good stuff, plus fun segments like MGTOW and This Ain't It Chief, plus a preview of next week's episode, only over at patreon.com/reportthispost. Not only that, but there's an additional bonus episode every week for our beautiful patrons and other fun stuff, all available at patreon.com/reportthispost. Help support the show. It'll do a lot for us. It'll make us feel better about spending all of our goddamn free time looking up posts for your guys' amusement. And enjoy the show. Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 132 of Report This Post, the podcast about bad posts and bad people. My name is Geiger, and that is Christian.
Giddy up!
And we're your hosts with the posts. Every week, Christian, myself, or a listener select a different topic and then find horrible posts for your listening pleasure. And this week's topic, as chosen by listener Evan, is horses. That's right. Hey, well, maybe not right, but that is probably the best we're going to do tonight. Because I have no interest in making that noise, but Christian took the reins on that one and stumbled right out of the gate and face planted and is now paralyzed for the rest of his life.
To the glue factory with me, please, God.
That's right. Oh, that sounds so good. I'd love to be glue for some kid to eat and play with.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So yeah, horses. Not a lot of experience myself on horses. In fact, no? I've never been on side of a horse. Never been
any side of a horse, inside, outside, none of it. No.
Mm-hmm. We will hear from people who like the idea of being inside of a horse, which shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. But before we get to that, we have to announce that we did a live show last week for our patrons, and it was a success, so we're going to do it again on April 19th. That's a Monday, 9 p.m. Eastern. But you can only do it at patreon.com/reportthispost when you sign up to become a member. It's just $5 a month to do that, and you get full episodes every week, plus bonus episodes every week. Plus some other fun things we do every once in a while. We get on a roll and decide to do some fun stuff. Otherwise, bonus episodes are just us just sort of hanging out and reading bad posts, which we understand is one of the only appeals of the podcast. So you would like those bonus episodes, folks. I guarantee it. Can't say why I would. Why would I choose to say that? Don't know. So yeah, Evan chose horses. Thank you, Evan. Was he a patron, or where did he do that?
He is a patron, yes, sir.
Thank you, Evan.
Thank you for continuing to support the show.
Yep. We hope you don't stop supporting just because we chose your topic.
If he does, he can't hear it. So, choice is yours and yours alone.
If you can't hear this, go fuck yourself, Evan. So have you ridden a horse? Have you been atop a pony?
I have multiple times.
Ooh, what were the occasions?
I believe the first time was when I went to Cub Scout camp, and when I first learned how to ride a horse. Growing up, I knew a couple people that had horses. It was an occasion to go over to their house and horse around, and just quite literally trot around their barnyard on a horse. It's been a number of years since I hopped on a pony, but I think I could probably still do it.
Okay. Yeah,
It's kind of like riding a bike.
That's right, except it's a horse.
Except it weighs 1,500 pounds and could kill you by any number of means. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Some of them weigh even more than that, as we'll hear from later on. My Audacity just made a pop-up that said disk space remaining for recording 2,400 hours. Great.
All right, folks, we'll strap in.
We're going to see if we can hit that mark tonight. So anyway, enough about that shit. Let's go ahead and start reading some goddamn posts about horsies, if you will.
Excellent. Terrific.
And this would be the real-life companion to the My Little Pony episode we did a little while ago.
There's some crossover for sure.
Mm-hmm.
This was posted to an equestrian forum in response to a thread titled Horse, quote-unquote, Consent by a Mr. Ron M. I don't own a horse, but if I did, it's my property, and I should be able to do whatever the fuck I want to it. I can fuck it, I can eat it, I can ride it, I can sell it. The public should get absolutely no veto power over what I do with a horse I pay for. This is basic stuff. When you own property, no one gets to tell you what to do with it unless you're hurting others. No, animals don't count. And Fuggrunts replied, how is a horse's quote-unquote consent in any way relevant? You don't need an animal's quote-unquote consent to own them, eat them, etc. Animals have absolutely zero rights. There's nothing you can do to an animal that should be illegal.
Boy, you know, there's part of me that agrees 100%. Because animals are, they're basically just like, to me, they're like mobile house plants. And they don't do a whole lot else for me personally. But I would say there are some folks out there who disagree. In fact, there's probably many folks out there who disagree.
It's just interesting that this would be posted on an equestrian forum where you would think people who absolutely adore horses would go to share their opinions. But apparently there's a rift.
Yeah, well, I guess you could still, people like, people like guitars. So, and some of those people own guitars, and they probably think they're within their right to fuck the guitar, too. And
hey, a guitars episode, that'd be good.
Wait, we actually did one, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
You can't pull that joke on me, man. I just don't. I'm just not going to know if it's true or not. Go back and listen to that one month or 10 years ago. I don't know. Speaking of horses, I found this interesting exchange on Facebook between two women. First one started off by saying this. My stallion gets spray-on cooking olive oil on his willy. This way it's clean for the ladies as it takes all the dried skin off. He won't let me touch it, so the spray works. And the other woman responded, why on God's green earth would you spray cooking oil on his penis? Would you spray that up your vagina? That is essentially what you are doing to any mare he breeds. To which the OP said, because that way it's clean. What would you rather in your vagina, a clean, slightly oiled penis or a filthy one covered in dead skin? It's just like, someone's just like out on the ranch like, hey, someone's cooking fettuccine out here? What the hell's that? What the hell's going on out here?
I mean, personally, I don't want either one of those anywhere near my vagina.
Yeah.
But that's just me. Slightly oiled penis.
I guess gun to the head, I would do olive oil penis, but it doesn't seem like those are the only two options.
Why would you post this? Why would you post this? That I'm just doing my normal thing. I'm out feeding the chickens, oiling down my horse's cock.
Yeah.
Whoa. Yeah. Got a new crate of Pam cooking spray showing up later today so I can take care of them.
Why not vegetable oil? Canola oil.
Because then maybe it might attract himself to it, and then you got a whole other problem.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
That's not a carrot.
Yeah. So I'm not sure what the solution is. Never had to worry about that myself.
You don't oil up the old. unit there? Get all the dead skin off? What is the dead skin?
I do. I mean, my horses, I don't do
okay.
that.
Okay. All right. Sorry. All right. Well, speaking of horse care and whatever else not, this one is a Facebook Messenger convo between two friends. The OP messages, "Ha ha ha, my horse broke my toes. She stepped on them and twisted and wouldn't get off my toes, and I had no shoes on." Her friend responds, "Oh, dang." OP says, "She weighs over 15,000 pounds. Friend, 1,500? OP, nope, add another 0 to that. Friend, there's no way that she can be that much. Maybe 1,500, but not 15,000. OP, she's almost big as a damn draft horse, and her hooves are bigger than my head. And we got papers on her telling us her weight. Friend, the record for weight is 3,336 pounds in England. OP, okay, well, this horse isn't from here, Abby. You can't be calling me a liar when I have damn papers in this bitch. You haven't even had horses your whole life, and you sure don't know everything about a horse, honey, so kind of get over yourself. You might be reading this shit on the internet, but everything you read on the internet isn't true. I have papers on this horse, and you're calling me a liar. That's real funny, don't you think? You haven't even seen the horse. This horse is bigger and huger than any horse I've owned. I hate bitches like you who think you know it all when you don't. And yes, horses can weigh over 15,000 pounds because I've seen some, and I own one. So don't sit here and tell me I'm lying when I'm not. And my facts are straight. And this horse came from a prison, and they had papers on her. And it tells us how big and her weight, and tells everything about her. So before you go and tell someone they're lying, make sure you have your facts straight. Because, because you, Mrs. Know-It-All, isn't always right. And I didn't ask for your input. I was talking to Abby. I'm done with this consideration. I got animals to feed.
Okay. An elephant weighs 13,000 pounds. So this horse is a ton bigger than an elephant.
This horse the size of a woolly mammoth.
Yeah, I wouldn't want that
stepped
thing
just on this girl's toes. She really lucked out on that one, that it was just her toes and not everything from the calf down.
Yeah, she should be flattened underneath, like in a classic cartoon where the elephant or the horse pulls her flattened body off.
Peels it off like a
and it floats away. Little accordion sound added to it. Yeah, that I've never seen someone commit so much to being wrong and like called out for it online. Just like, nah, it's 15,000. Yeah, it's a 15,000 pound.
You know what you gotta just kind of back up your bullshit, folks. If you're gonna stick with a story, just go all die on that hill.
Come die 100% on the hill. Just make a mountain out of it and then die all over it. So someone went to on Reddit at r2afraid to ask this: do horse girls get off on riding their horses? Like, do they get sexual stimuli off riding them? And user Poffin said, it's possible and often happens to some degree. You get in the saddle and wiggle around to settle into it, and at some point you're likely to hit an erogenous zone. But sustained stimulation doesn't really happen unless you want it to, which is creepy. Do that on your own time. Every once in a while your pants and seat will be laying in such a way that you can't avoid it. It's far more likely in that scenario that the stimulation is more painful than pleasurable. I'd just stand up in the saddle, readjust my clothing, and continue to ride. Pantone7465 said, I wasn't big into equestrian, but I definitely experienced sexual arousal as a young girl horseback riding. It's the constant back and forth action and movement, and depending on the way you sit, the saddle may rub some sensitive areas. I never orgasmed on a horse, but I could definitely see how it's possible. To which user Foreign Necessary responded, please stop, you're making the whole equestrian community seem like furries or some shit.
And they definitely don't need any help in that respect. So.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of perverts in the community.
They're beautiful animals, though. I mean, you just want to go up and... Yeah, well, guilty. Yeah, I sure do like those broads. You know what? I have a story about... I went to high school with a gal. It was a big horse girl. Mm-hmm. And she used to do the thing where she would like feed carrots to her horse out of her mouth, which is, I guess, a normal horse person thing to do. And one time the horse got spooked and its bottom teeth got caught in her cheek and gave her a glass-house smile all the way across one side of her face.
Whoa.
And because it was an animal wound, they couldn't stitch it up, so she had to have it butterflied shut for like 3 months. Horrific.
This is while you
wonder
were
how
there?
she's doing. I didn't date her. I just went to school with her.
Okay, so
Wonder what she's doing these days.
you loved her. Okay. All right. That's cool.
I love the way she always smelled like horse shit walking through the halls.
Let me just say, based on your history, I would not be surprised if you were with a horsey gal. Okay.
User the computer geek posted serious. My 35 male girlfriend, 24 female, wants me to act like a horse when we have sex, and I'm not into it at all. On our relationship advice.
Gotcha.
My girlfriend of 6 months loves horses, has all her life. An additional, seemingly relevant point is, during sex, she sometimes says stuff like, "Fuck me with that horse cock." I've never thought much of it. I thought that it was just a way of her saying it's big. But she started to take it further, and it's turned into a bit of a fetish that I'm not entirely comfortable with. A few days ago, she told me she wanted to roleplay, and at first I was pretty on board, but then she said, "as horses." I laughed, thinking it was a joke, and she took it the wrong way, and said she was tired, and then went to sleep. I said fuck it, and trying to make her feel better, said I'd do it the following day. Honestly, it was okay, but very, very weird. She got into it and said it was the best she's ever had, and the next time she wanted to buy costumes, and maybe do it in some hay. I told her no, and I didn't want to do it again, and she's back to being mad at me. Am I being a dick here? I don't know what to do. Well, Throwaway 273922020 replied, "Here's an idea. Try dating someone who's not a decade younger than you and clearly hasn't sexually matured since 11. Just fucking gross."
So he's 35, she's 24.
Mm-hmm.
Is that even a thing?
I mean, sure. Why not?
I mean, to me, if you're 25-ish and the other person's north of that, it's like you're just the same age.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, there's really no. Yeah.
Yeah, once you're completely done with college and you're just a grown up, like you're both adults. I don't think the decade is that big of a stretch at that point.
No. No.
But also, just go ahead and fuck her like that. Like, just be the horse. Who gives a shit?
Nobody has to know. You're making it weird posting online, buddy.
Yeah. Especially if your name's the computer geek, I'm gonna guess not a lot of options for this guy. You know what I mean?
I love my games, and she loves her horses. And how can we ever? How could we ever fall in love? It's so crazy.
One of the most beautiful romances of all time. Two unlikely people.
A horse girl, a gamer, star-crossed lovers.
Mm-hmm. Well, speaking of lovers, Suncasa713 posted this in our Equestrian. Divorce and horse ownership. Hi, folks. I'm getting divorced, and now I'm afraid I will not be able to afford keeping my horse. He is boarded, and it's so expensive. Anyone had this happen? Very sad. I just want to keep him. Some helpful advice for her from some other folks, but notably I want to talk about her profile, where she also posts regularly in these subforums. Our Chihuahua, our Yorkie, our Great Dane dogs, our Poodles, our Pit Bulls, and our Jeep. So we have a big-time dog, horse, and Jeep person.
Yeah, I mean, she's
some of the worst possible combinations of things.
She's a woman of varied interest, mostly just different sized dogs, but you know, she knows what she likes.
The biggest range of dogs I've seen, from Chihuahua to Great Danes. Loves them all.
And all of them in between.
Yeah.
And folks, don't we love our four-legged friends, except for Geiger, who would rather just not ever see an animal ever again unless it's on a plate. So
that's right. And Jeep is Jeep owners are, well, not Jeep. Being a Jeep owner is fine, but I even know some of them.
Jeep owners that post online are
Yes.
a different breed.
And like the Jeep people that have like stickers on their Jeeps, they're like, "Yeah, I own a Jeep. Go fuck yourself." You know, or like, "Yeah, you wouldn't get it. It's a Jeep thing." Like, what the who the fuck cares?
If you can read this, roll me over, sir. If I can read that upside down sticker, I am calling 911 because you are going to be in big trouble. I don't think I'm going to roll your 2-ton vehicle back over by myself. I'll try though.
Sir, I'll have you know that I can't even read regular way. What do you want me to do with this information?
Is this some kind of joke? Are you making fun of me?
Honking at them to pull over. I can't read your bumper stickers, asshole. Who do you think you are? Just pulling
Bumper
every
sticker.
other car over.
If bumper stickers like, if you can read this, well, I can't.
If you can read this, great. An illiteracy advocate driving. Just you just see them just bursting through every stop sign. It's like, I don't know what that said. Couldn't have been important.
I would have been able to read it. Yeah. Oh my god!
60 miles an hour through every stop. Oh.
That rocks. User Durango 1917 went to our horses to ask, "What do you do when your horse dies?" I'm sorry if this is a morbid question, but it perplexes me as to what you do when your horse dies in the United States. They are so big so they would be hard to move. A front loader, backhoe, or excavator is the only way I see someone moving one, or with a winch. Do you dig a hole? Don't get me wrong, I think horses are cool, so I'm not trying to piss anyone off, but I'm just curious as to what you do with it. In Mexico, if a horse gets too old, my grandfather would kill it for dog food. What happens in the United States? An executive 313 replied, "We have a burn pile that builds up every year of brush and fallen trees. Anytime any animal dies, we build it up like a pyre and send them off Viking style into the sunset. Done it for 4 dogs and 3 horses.
Jesus.
We make a little service toast to a good send-off."
Oh, man.
What's happening on that ranch?
What kind of midsummer fucking weird-ass commune are these freaks living on?
Yeah. Well, it's time to burn another horse. It's it's the solstice.
3 $50,000 animals died.
So we just burned it. Of course, why wouldn't you?
I would definitely look into selling the meat for a horse if it died.
Would you eat a horse? I'd eat a horse.
My God, are you kidding me? Name an animal I wouldn't eat. Like, seriously.
What, are you fucking stupid?
Every time that question's brought, I was like, would you eat a bald eagle? I was like, are you fucking... I'll get the goddamn fryer going. I'll get the oven preheated. You got an eagle?
You bring me the bird. I'll take care of it.
I got it. I got an omelet with my fucking name on it, ready to go. Yeah, like I would love to eat a horse. I never had a horse myself, but I would imagine it's fine.
Folks frown upon it, but again, I mean,
that's all cultural shit, right? Don't they eat a lot of horses over in the Dothraki? Eat horses, I do.
Okay, go on. Go get that.
I think I'm right about that.
Go on.
A woman shared this thought on Facebook. To people who say they have loved and lost, you have no idea. Try having a horse. You give your everything, your all, heart, soul, passion, dreams, hopes. You tell them your secrets, your fears. You pour your spirit into them, and they give you their love, and most precious of all, their toast. That bond is unimaginable if you haven't experienced it. When you experience a gut-wrenching pain of all that crashing down, then you truly have loved and lost. And that got one sad reaction on it. Pretty sure she meant trust, not toast, but...
Horse just sticking its head in the window with a plate. Oh, good morning, thank you. For me?
You would find that to be very precious. If you had a horse. Mr. Ed just pokes his head right into the window. Got it buttered and ready for you. You're like, it's like, how did you even toast this thing? You know, there's no outlet outside. Oh, whatever. Just give me the fucking toast.
It's a horse. It's a horse. To love and it's a horse. I'm sorry. Animals are wonderful, but
no,
it's a horse.
Doesn't matter if you tell them your secrets or your fears because they're animals.
That's so. Just
you could do that with anything. They're not. It's
spreading out a giant sleeping bag so you and your horse can lay down and braid each other's hair while you're. It's happened. It's happened, folks. It's had to have happened.
This is a lady who's gotten kicked in the head a time or two by a horse.
Hey, speaking of that.
Oh, yeah?
Someone went to court to ask, what is it like to get kicked by a horse? A gentleman named Patrick Davies, cabinet maker, answered, I'm lucky that I've only been grazed. A gelding landed one at an extreme of his reach on my hip. Massive bruise and a lot of pain. Oof. If it had been closer, that kick could have easily broken my hip. My great-grandfather was killed at the age of 53 by a kick to the head. Oof. It was not a slow death. Apparently, it was nearly instantaneous. Beautiful animals, and mostly peaceful, but when they go for you, they have the ability to do some serious damage quite easily.
Yeah. That's right. That sounds like a great way to die. Just boom, lights out, baby.
Closed casket. Yeah.
Yeah, just head just
no
right off. You know, I've heard of folks getting quite injured on these big old horses.
Sure.
It does seem odd that we just sort of figured out that we can just ride them around, you know, and they were mostly fine with that. It seems.
I'm sure there was some trial and error there.
Yeah, lots of error. Well, there's been a lot of errors over the years with all sorts of stuff. I'm glad we don't have to worry about that. We got everything kind of figured out. We don't really have to learn anything anymore. It's great.
How's the Suez Canal doing these days, by the way? Hadn't we checked on that?
Oh, yeah.
Sure, there's nothing going on with that.
Yeah, so there was a boat that was just sort of lodged in there, like a bone down your neck or something? Yeah?
Yeah, it still is. Probably will still be there when this episode is released.
That's right. And this episode will be released in 3 months. So, if you ever wondered why we were so behind the times on things, well, look, we're excited about the election coming up. So that's what our main concern is. We hope hoping Biden can win it. Okay. This one's from Reddit. Does anybody else think all horse girls are weird? I swear 9 times out of 10 I can pick out the girl who rides horses. They creep me out. User Brez said this. I can picture them. Short round face, white, about 5 feet tall, very thin hair. It is not the appearance, though, it is the stare. Normal people look around, make eye contact with people and such, but not horsewomen. I'm not even sure they notice people at all. They just do their thing. They don't even look at the ground when walking. And I'm not talking staring straight down. I'm talking looking at everything below the damn horizon. It is freaky shit if you ask me. Then we get to the hips. What the fuck? They're so big for their body, they look like bowling pins.
This guy is ruining our bit.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be the ones describing these odd butternut squash-shaped women.
Well, that's kind of why I picked it, was because this guy kind of nailed it pretty much on the nose there. Yeah.
The only thing he missed was the sweatpants tucked into cowboy boots. And the lanyard with keys, like a lot of keys on it for some reason.
the key lanyard is such a thing, such a look. I knew several kids in school that had that, and they weren't necessarily the hippest bananas in the bunch.
Now, what color was your lanyard?
God, I'm so glad you didn't ask what color were their skin.
That's your bit. That's not mine.
That's right. Well, we got a lot of bit stealing going on here. So,